Hello everybody, it's Alan again, aka Chita, and today I bring you yet another video of the COMP1 2014 analysis. Alright, so today what I'm going to do is I am going to make a way that the user can save the recent score and the top score. Now for that I'm going to use external files. I'm going to use CSV files. They are comma separated values, and there are two methods for doing this. I am going to use the string reader and string writer method. And to do that, what we need to do before we can even start is to import the library. So we're going to import system.io, and I believe I'm going to make a comment as always. One more. There we go. Oop, added. So yeah. Alright, now what we need to do next is we're going to go for the display menu, and we're going to add these options. So.WriteLine, right line 7. This will be save scores. And then so.WriteLine 8. Soon I'll run out of space. This will be load scores. Alright, so as I said, we're going to be able to save both the top score and the recent score. And the reason that I'm not making separate options for them is just to save space. I'm going to ask the user which score do they want to save, if it is the top score or the highest, the recent score. Sorry. So that's what we're going to do now. Let's go. Case 7. If you remember, that is the save, not the load. So what we're going to do is if get score type, and that will give us an error because I haven't created that. Now let's scroll down and let's solve this error. It's going to be a function get score type. Don't need any parameters, they'll be as boolean. Alright, so what we're going to do is clear the console.clear, then we're going to write console.WriteLine. Please enter the score, please enter which score you wish to save /load. I'm going to be a bit lazy. And then we're going to do console.write. That's going to be enter T for top score and anything else for recent. Right, now let's get a variable here, dim cs and then c is equal console.readKey key.keychar. Yes, you guessed it. And then we're going to make a selection. So if c is equal was it d, then return true, else return false. That's all we need to do. Now let's go back up. let's make a comment before I forget again. The last 2 videos I've been forgetting to do this, and I have to edit afterwards. Right, so if that's equal true, so if the user wants to save the top score, what we're going to do is we're going to save the top score. So we're going to change the parameters that we're going to pass for the next procedure that we're going to create. So let's do that now. Sub, get rid of caps. That's going to be save scores. Now first we need a val. We don't need to save anything afterwards to our top score. We're going to use score as the recent score. And by val top as boolean, and that should be all. Okay, so I'm going to be lazy and I'm going to let the user choose where they want to save it. It's not terribly hard. They just need to make a console.writeLine, ask where they want to save, and then save that into a string variable and use that as the location. What I'm going to do instead is that I'm going to leave on the default folder where the executable is. So in our case will be on the debug folder. I'm going to call this variable name, which will be the actual path, so the actual name of the CSV file that we're going to save. So if top, which means that if we're going to save the top score, then name will be equal to top.csv. Else name will be equal to recent.csv, and that should be all for that. Let's move on. So we have the name of the file that we want to save. We have the the values of the file that we want to save, and now we just need a way to actually save it. So what we're going to do is, first of all, I'm going to make a comment that will be very important for the exam. At least I like to think that's important. Every time I need to do those sort of things, I like to add this comment, which informs the examiner that you have imported the library, because the way that the exams works is that they were going to ask you to do something, then they're going to import A or part whatever that is. They're going to tell you to copy and paste this procedure they've created into the answer booklet, into the electronic answer thing, and this wouldn't be enough. If you don't tell the examiner that you're actually importing this library and you use this method, they won't know that you imported it, and they will try to recreate that, and that will give you an error simply because it didn't import that. So all that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a comment saying system imports system.io has been added on top of the module declaration, and that should be enough to keep you on the safe side. You know, I don't think you lose a mark not to do that, but you won't lose much time doing it, and it can guarantee that you won't lose it, that you won't lose your mark. Now let's create the string writer, because we're saving. So dim sw for string writer as stream writer, and then I'm going to go after that. Once we have this variable filled in, we're going to do sw is equal new stream writer, and the path will be name. You need to do that afterwards. You can't do this over here when you declare the variable, because at this time name is empty, so you will not have a path created for this if you do it over here. So we're doing it after we fill in these variable. Okay, next what we want to do is we want to make a loop that will save all of the values. So we have the score over here. Now all we need to do is for I is equal 1 to number of recent scores, because remember we declared both the top score and the recent score as the number of recent score being the maximum index. So I'm going to do the name first and then the score. So sw.writeLine, then we're going to do score I dot name and want a comma because it's a comma separated value, so it makes sense to use a comma to separate our values, and score I dot score, and that will save all the values for I on the same line. So we'll have the name, then a comma, then the next value, which will be the score. After we do all that, it's very important to do is to close the file. So sw.close, and that will take care of all the saving that we need. Now I like to always inform the user that it worked properly. So going to clear the console, then we're going to console.writeLine line score has been saved, and then pause the program, which we have created on our first tutorial on this series. Now that should be all for this. I'm going to make the comment added, and let's add these to the option on the main program. So we're going to go here, and so if you want to save the top, we're going to save score. The score that we want to send is the top score, so top score, and that's true because the top score. Else, so if we don't want to save the score, the top score, the only one left would be the recent score, so save score, recent score, and that's false. That's everything for the save. We can now try and run the program, see what happens. Yes, let's do that. So 8, obviously we haven't done anything for option 8, so you know. 7, it will save, but before we can save, we should actually populate the top score of the recent score. So let's do that first. So 2, that's yes. Oh, that's 1. Yes. No. No. Yes. That's as far as I remember. No. Ah, cool. No. No. Yeah, that was yes. So let's call that P1 for player 1 or whatever. Oh yeah. OP1. Don't know why OP. Let's do it again. 2, 1. That's a yes, no, no, yes, yes. I already forgot my my memory. It's terrible. That will be OP2. 2, 1. That's going to be yes, no, no. And let's leave it like that. And that will be OP3. Now, before we save, let's have a look on the on the top scores, yes, top scores 5. We get OP1, OP2, OP3. Very nicely done. Let's save it. 7. I want to save the top score, so enter T. Score has been saved. Cool. Now let's make sure that it has actually been saved. Let's quit the program and let's right click over here and then open folder in Windows Explorer. We'll take you there. Then we go bin, debug, and top as a CSV. And we got option OP1, OP2, OP3, 5, 4, 3. Exactly how we had before. Cool. Let's close this. Let's go back to here. And now let's do the loading part. So case 8, and as I said, I use the same function that we did before. So get score type. Okay, let's do the loading procedure. Now this will be slightly more complicated than the save procedure, because whenever you read from comma separated values, you could use the split method, which works just fine if you want everything on the same array, just in different index. But it's not the case in here, because we have the same index for 2 values, and then the next line will be the next index. So we're going to use the left and right functions to do that. So let's create the sub first. So sub load score. This time we want the scores by ref, because we're actually saving it to the score. So by ref score as t recent score. Then we want by val top as boolean, for the exact same reason as before. So name as string, and I'm just going to copy this because it's the exact same thing over here. Now other variables that I know that we're going to need, they will be, you want one temporary variable, temp as string. Then we're going to want a dim, seriously, dim, just going over my typing today, as len as integer, and we're going to need the actual string reader this time. Dim sr for string reader as stream reader. Okay, so like before, we want to populate that after populate the string reader after we have populated the name variable, which is our directory. But this time we can't do it straight away. We need to actually use the try catch feature, because if the user tries to load, let's use the example that we have now. I used only the top score. If the user tried to load the recent score doesn't exist, the file. Let's go back there, bin debug. We have the top score.csv, so top.csv. We don't have recent.csv. If we try to load that, then we're going to have a problem, because that doesn't exist. So we're going to do it here. sr be equal new string reader name. Okay, now I need to do the rest in here as well, because the way that I want it to work is that if it exists, then it will carry on just fine. If it doesn't exist, then it's going to give an error message. So console.clear. If you like clearing the console, then console.writeLine. I'm going to say save file does not exist. And I'm going to pause the program. Alright, so let's carry on the good scenario of the user trying to load something that actually exists. And what we want to do next is we're going to start the loop for I is equal 1, 2, number of recent score, why is it not creating next? Oh, that's why. Put a minus instead of equal. Okay. So, first we want to populate the temp, which is a string, with the line, the next line that's being read. So we're going to do sr dot read line. Equals. Okay. Don't like these brackets there. Now, what we can do is for J, because the next letter on the alphabet is equal to 0 to temp dot length minus 1 no, that's fine. 0 to temp dot length minus 1. What we're going to do is if temp J it's equal to comma, then len will be equal to J, and then we're going to exit 4. Alright, so what we're doing here, we're finding the index value of the comma. Now, if you're not familiar with this, I can't remember if I already explained in previous tutorials. Every string variables, it's literally an array of characters, so an array of char type, data type, and VB treats it exactly like that. So what we're doing is that we're going through the zero index, so the first letter, all the way to when the comma is found, so whichever index that is, and we're saving that into our length variable, and we're exiting the 4. Now, thinking about it, I just thought that this would make it a lot easier because of what we're going to do next. So we're going to save the next index, so the actual position, if you consider the first letter as 1 in the length. It's going to make sense in a bit. Next, so we're going to exit this 4, this inner 4, and what we're going to do is that score I dot name, remember that was what came first, will be equal to now I remember why I didn't do this. So let's just remove that. So this will be equal to left of temp, which is the line that we read, and we're going to, from the left of it, we're going to take len number of characters, if you assume that the first character is number 1. Then we want to do score I dot score be equal to right from temp, and then we want to do temp dot length minus len plus 1. The brackets are important because of the arithmetic operation that we're doing here. If you don't put the brackets, then you need to put these as a minus. It's up to you. Let's close this. Oh, let's close this. And in fact, something I forgot, it's very important. We would have I'm not sure if you consider it an error, but it's a bad programming practice that you're converting string into integers, because this is an integer data type and write returns a string data type. So all we need to do is cint open and close at the end. Now this is convert to integer, and that solves the conversion problem. That's everything we need to do over here. Then we're going to, after we finish the whole loop, the outer loop, we're going to close cr.close our string reader, otherwise we won't be able to use it again. And then we're going to inform the user as always, console.clear console.writeLine. What are we going to say? We're going to say the save has been, the save file has been loaded, and that should be enough. And then we're going to pause the program. Now in fact, since we're pausing the program at the end, both of them, we can just put this outside the my catch, because that's going to be executed anyway, no matter what happens. And this should be everything for now. Yes, let's run the program and see. Now if you remember, we have the let me open the debug folder over here. We have this, which has some values in there, which is fine, which is great. What we want to do now, which one was it? This one. What we want to do now is run the program. We have it running over here. Close the thing. Yep. First, let's make sure that the top score, that's the one that we have, it's empty. So that's option 5. Yeah. Empty score. Just go. Cool. What do we do next? We load. So we want 8, and we want the top score, so we enter T, and that is not working because I forgot to actually put these over there. Let's go back to the main. Here, what we're going to do is this, and that will be the top score, so top score, and true. Then else, wait, I think I forgot to copy that. Should be load, or maybe copied the wrong one. Load score. That'll be the recent score. True. Okay, let's run it again. Now, once again, I'll enter option 5, empty. Cool. Option 8, and we want the top score first. 5 has been loaded. Cool. So now let's check option 5, and we got first one, option 1, and so on. So, excuse my phone for a second. And that's just fine. Cool. Now let's check what happens when we try to load the recent score. So anything else? File has been loaded. Did I press T? I might have pressed T. I didn't actually look at the keyboard. Let's try it again. 8. Sorry. B. File has been loaded. Maybe I didn't. Display the recent score. That's option 3. Oh, I see. I might have messed up over here. Let's have a look. Name is equal top if top. Maybe I'm passing through both times. You're probably shouting at me. Yes. Okay. False. Let's try it again. See, that's why I need to check for everything to make sure everything works. Now let's check. That's empty. Okay, cool. let's go back to the load, and this time on the P. File does not click. Okay, cool. That's exactly what we wanted. 3. Yeah. I'm going to change that in a future tutorial because this tutorial is dragging along already. I'm saying I'm going to change it. Don't say what. I'm going to change this so it displays empty if it is empty, like exactly like we did to the top recent to display the recent score, the top score. Sorry. Alright, I believe that's all for today. If you like the video, feel free to hit like. If you like the series, feel free to subscribe, and so you can see every time I post a new video. And if you have any idea for possible implementations, possible stuff to do to the program to improve it, please leave a comment below. And if you have any feedback you want to give me, also feel free to leave me a comment below. That's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.